Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court criminal docket for March 4th, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Blanco, how would you call our case today?
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2019-0D04292, State of Texas versus Daniel Valles. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the State of Texas. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Eduardo Lerma, Your Honor, on behalf of Daniel Valle, and we're ready.
Good morning, Mr. Lerma. Your client is in custody and not present today. Are you okay proceeding without him being here?
We do waive his presence, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lerma. And this is I appreciate counsel's, all of counsel's flexibility. I know we've been trying to accommodate everyone's schedule with all of the things that are having to happen in light of the trial date. So this was originally scheduled for yesterday after our hearing on Tuesday because there was supposed to be a review of a cell phone on Wednesday. My understanding was through emails that was not accomplished on Wednesday. Instead, it happened on Thursday. And therefore, I pushed back the status hearing one day, Mr. Lerma. So that's where the confusion might have been. We did have the hearing scheduled for yesterday, but my understanding is you and Ms. Lerma were able to go and inspect the cell phone yesterday, Thursday, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about, I know I was confused initially. I thought the request had been to have some type of expert or an investigator. Will you enlighten the court as to what you were able to accomplish yesterday and what may remain outstanding with respect to that piece of evidence?
Well, what it tells us, Your Honor, we have a lot of investigation to do. Our investigator was present. She did take pictures of everything, of all the evidence rather, and she's analyzing it right now. We're working on it right now. But as far as giving you a status from yesterday to right now, as to what we've been able to accomplish, what I know has not been accomplished is communication with my client. I've seen him since I got on the case at least 9 times, and he cannot communicate with me, Your Honor, in his defense. And I don't know how to go about it. I'm not a psychiatrist, and I don't know how to get in his mind, but he seems to be blank and unable to assist in his defense. So yesterday, promptly, we did file a motion for another psychiatric exam late yesterday.
Okay. When did you initially, how is it that you were hired? I believe he was comped back in, I want to say early, maybe mid 2020. And he was found to be fully competent, having no mental health diagnoses whatsoever. Is he receiving any treatment in the jail that you know of?
That I know of, Your Honor, he's not. I know how to spot post-traumatic injuries, and he's got it real bad. And he has somewhere in the back of his brain, he has closed off as to what happened that night. And I need to know so that we can move in a certain direction, and we can't get into his thought processes at this time, Your Honor. I've been trying. That's why I've visited with him so many times. I don't know why previous counsel didn't spot this. I know we spotted a lot of things wrong with this case already. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it. There's a lot of mysteries involved now. There's some blood evidence that wasn't analyzed, and it's not in evidence or in the evidence box that was given to us yesterday. So we have to file a motion to produce that evidence so that we can have it tested and see whose blood that is. It was in a pile of soiled clothing in the laundry room.
Hold on, because we're talking about a lot of different things here.
Yes, that's what
First
we
of
were.
all, let's go. Okay, let's go back. First, I'm going to go back to the cell phone. In terms, I do see there's a motion for competency. That will be heard. I need to look at that. Well, go ahead and set that for Monday. Your client is going to be present here on Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll set that for a review on Monday. And then now you're telling me about more outstanding evidence. So let's go back because we're going to have to take these things in order. In terms of the cell phone, you said you had your investigator take photographs of the cell phone, which I believe is the victim or the decedent's iPhone. Is that, I think I heard it referenced before. What is outstanding there? I mean, is that, it's been produced, you've inspected it. I understand that there are previous, I think that's what I heard is there's previous supplements because I think I inquired about previous efforts by detectives or investigators, or I don't know who's looked at that cell phone before to establish that it is not able to be opened or looked at in any way. And those supplements, it has been represented by the DA's office, have been turned over to you and been made available, I guess, since they've been created. So what else is outstanding?
On the cell phone right now, Your Honor, just an inspection of the photographs themselves. Now, the representation is made that there's nothing in those cell phones. Well, we take there is an inference that there was a lot of love talk with other people on that cell phone, but we're unable to get in there. And this lady that is doing our investigation, if we can't get in there, we can't get in there. So I don't know what else I can tell the court at this time.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, yesterday during evidence review, it was, the summary of it was laying out all the evidence that Ms. Lerma requested for the officers to open up, and the council's investigator was taking photos. The phone was never, as far as the phone, there was only photos that was taken. And they requested specific evidence to be open and certain evidence to not be open. And that was pretty much the summary of the evidence review. Ms. Lerma did request to have a date scheduled. That will be March 10th to actually go inspect Daniel Valles' vehicle that is currently at the CAP impound lots. I have made that time, and that will be in March 10th. I did send an email. I misstated March 11th. It's actually March 10th, which is a Thursday at 11 a.m. And I did provide the address on there as well. That was the extent of, I believe, the evidence review, the request. I have also sent an email to Mr. Lerma indicating that the Faro video is ready for his firm to pick it up. I have also sent another email to Mr. Lerma.
So hold on, Ms. King, because I want to kind of go, I want to keep things in order here before we kind of just throw everything out there and then I'm not keeping track of everything. And I know you've been diligent about sending emails to counsel and you're copying the court about a bunch of different things. And I think we'll use that as a guide after I make sure I know what Mr. Lerma is still telling me is outstanding. And I want responses from you on those things. Okay, so let's start there. Okay, so in terms of an inspection of the cell phone, the only thing I'm hearing right now is that inspection has been done. If there are any further motions from defense counsel regarding that cell phone, I think what I'm hearing is we've gone as far as we can with that cell phone. it sounds to me the only thing that we've accomplished is some type of external inspection, literal physical external inspection of the cell phone, correct? When you're saying you're taking photos of the cell phone, it's not like we've seen anything that is on that cell phone. It is literally just cell phone, right? Okay. Okay, Mr. Lerma, if you all have anything to file with the court regarding that item of evidence, then please do that. I think the state at this point has provided defense counsel with what they have. And so, like I said, if you have something to file on that, the court will consider that.
We are working on that, Your Honor, right now.
Okay. All right,
We're working as fast as we can.
understood. In terms of the motion for competency, that, again, we'll hear it on Monday. 3, you mentioned outstanding blood evidence, that something that hasn't been tested, some clothing. Tell me what you're talking about.
There's a rag or a towel that was found in a pile of clothing in what I believe to be the laundry room. It's not in the evidence box. And we're going to need to inspect it, possibly get a sample of the blood and see and determine whose blood that is.
Okay, so let me stop right there. How did we find it? How, if it's not in the evidence box, how did we find this? What, if it's not in evidence, somebody talk to me about this. Where is this? What is it? Was it tested? What's going on? I'm asking the state, Mr. Lerma.
Your Honor, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Yesterday, there was very little communication from Mr. Lerma and Ms. Lerma. So that's kind of the reason for evidence review. Should defense need anything tested, or because we are working on time of the essence, but I'm not too sure about what Mr. Lerma is indicating.
So are you operating off a list, Mr. Lerma?
It is something that our investigator developed, Your Honor, and we've got pictures of it.
Can we be more specific, or?
I don't know. I'll ask her how she got it. Yesterday, we didn't really talk because you indicated that was in a pretrial, so I just told everybody to be quiet. Right?
Mr. Lerma, to speak to the state and not necessarily to ask questions of crime scene unit and CAP detectives, because the reason for evidence review is not to pretrial officers.
That's
but
correct.
Or to review the evidence, but
Yes.
you are free to communicate with me.
I
So
stand
it sounds
corrected.
like you all need to talk about that. I mean, I got to assume that if it's there, it's identified in some way. I don't know if it's been tested or not, but if it's something, it sounds like that's something you all need to work out. It strikes me as odd that there would be something there that wouldn't have been logged in or just not identified.
Your Honor, I don't believe that, and I'm sorry to interject here, but I don't believe that whatever was found is anything that was logged as part of the crime scene of what happened. If their investigator went out and found this, I'm sure that the police focused on the crime scene itself. You know, if there was a piece of evidence in another part of the house, you know, it was never indicated by the defendant or anything else, but we don't know what it is that they found. I mean, at this point, they could have found anything. You know, it's their house. And
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what y'all are referring to, but if it's something that has not been tested, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. You all know what you all have in evidence and whether it's been tested or not, whether it has been requested before to be tested. I'm not sure. But you all need to be talking with one another. It certainly can't, if it was done part of the evidence review, it's not something that came out of nowhere. I mean, it came from the investigation, right?
no,
So-
this was found by their investigator.
Is that right, Mr. Lerma?
That's correct, Your Honor. And
Oh,
yesterday, that's when I found out about it. And so I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I just can't do things from one day to the next. And it's,
Well, see, Mr. Lerma, let me stop you right there, because that's something that you keep saying, right? And I fully appreciate the time constraint and the pressure that you're under. But it was your decision to take this case on with the trial setting. And, the fact that you're expressing to the court the concerns that you have, I feel for you, but it's what this was when you decided to enter an appearance and take this case on when it was ready to go to trial. And it has been ready to go to trial. And if there were competency issues, if there were outstanding matters, then I have to say to you, then that should have gone into your decision to enter an appearance on this case.
I understand. I understand that, Your Honor, but we've been conducting our independent investigation. We've developed other things that we need to look at.
Well,
Surely one can get into a case and then develop other theories of what happened. And we've got different theories. And here's a note that I've just been given my legal assistant, that our investigator got that blood evidence from the DA portal evidence. So I don't know, Your Honor, that much. I'm going to talk to my investigator this morning. I'm just as dumbfounded as the court is.
And
well,
Your Honor, if I may, the evidence review was actually, that is something I took out of my initiative and gathered times and availability for evidence property to have should Mr. and Ms. Lerma decide to conduct the review. That was not even requested in the beginning stages of this case when they were retained.
Well, we just found out about it.
when did you enter an appearance, Mr. Lerma? In February, right?
2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, Your Honor. It's taken some time to review all the portal evidence. Yes.
Your Honor, it was February 7th, 2021.
The order to substitute was February 9th. And yeah, okay. So we have a vehicle, inspection on March 10th. That's almost a week out from trial. Okay,
That was Ms. Lerma's availability as soon as, that's the date she gave me, that she's available.
okay. All right. So I have I think those three issues, Mr. Lerma. What else did you have that we're not covering on Monday?
Everything else is going to be covered on Monday, I believe, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Ms. King, before we start going all over the place, what I would like to do is to have a recitation from you of everything that the DA's office has outstanding available for pickup by defense counsel. That's what I want to know, because I can't even keep up with all the emails of things that the DA's office is now saying. I have a CD, DVD, USB, and I want confirmation from you of what is still sitting in the DA's office to be picked up.
Your Honor, it's going to be a DVD of the Pharaoh video that was done. And the second item is a phone extraction of the defendant's phone. We had that redone. And I did communicate to defense counsel yesterday during evidence review. And that is the only two items outstanding, ready for pickup.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to make sure, because I know as we've been going on, you all have been communicating with one another. Mr. Lerma, I'm sure, has been getting someone to go pick up things. Okay, so there's only two items left. Okay, so Mr. Lerma, there's two items, a DVD, and then the phone, which I think I only saw that email today. So that may be a newer item. Mr. Lerma, if you all will coordinate to go and get those two items, I'm sure the phone extraction is probably something, if it hadn't been made available on portal. Well, both of those things on portal?
Your Honor, the phone extraction is, we don't put that on portal because of the capacity of it. So that's why we always make a copy and we send the email to defense. As same thing with the Pharaoh because of the capacity.
And this is the first time you're providing it?
The Pharaoh is the first time. It was always in evidence that it is available. However, the phone extraction, it is not the first time. Actually, I requested for this to happen, have another phone extraction of the defendant's phone due to the detective, Ms. Harmon has passed away in June 2021.
But was it provided previously, even if it wasn't to Mr. Lerma, to like Mr. Darnell or Ms. Caballero? Okay, so it was given to previous defense counsel. Mr. Lerma, did you get your client's file from Mr. Darnell?
No, we haven't gotten anything from Mr. Darnell.
Well, I mean, that would have been a long way to moving this case along when you took it on, right?
No, yes, if I would have gotten some cooperation, yes. And if the car had been inspected, it had not been inspected. And the phone itself had not been inspected. So we're trying, Your Honor. That's all I can tell the court. We're moving as fast and as diligently as we can.
Let me ask a question because I don't know a lot of details, and I'm not going to ask you to tell me a whole lot of details, but how does the car relate to the incident?
Well, there's an indication that they were fighting in the car itself. And I want to know if there's evidence anywhere in there, blood evidence or some kind of a tear or some clothing that was torn off, and if it was fully inspected. I want to take photographs of it from the inside and outside. Apparently, they stopped at some street, which we've not been able to get from my client because he can't remember. But they stopped at some street, and the neighbor asked them if everything was okay. They were outside fighting and physically fighting. So I want to know all those things. And if there is blood evidence inside that vehicle, then I want to inspect it. I want to find it.
Your Honor, if I may, so what Mr. Lerma is referring to are hours before the incident. The incident occurred in the master bathroom. However, there's also photos of the vehicle, outside the vehicle that is parked in the garage, inside the vehicle. That is all on portal, and that was also saved and provided upon the court's order to provide all media in a Mr. Lerma's USB that he provided to our office. That was all sent to, so it is not the first time he gathers, so.
Well, Your Honor, they missed that blood evidence, that bloody rag inside the house, and we found it in the DA portal, and it's not in evidence. And so that leads me to believe they might have missed something in the car. So that's
Mr. Lerma, why do you keep saying it's not in evidence?
Well, it wasn't in the evidence box. It's not listed. Maybe that's more specific. To be more specific.
Your Honor, if that's the case, then we would need to collect all the furniture, all the belongings of that house. And there's a lot. I mean, it was 3 people living in that house.
All righty.
That's precisely what I'm getting into. There was another gentleman living there, and we don't know where he's at either. He left before the police got there.
Okay. All righty. Okay, so let me see. Well, okay, Ms. King, so we had those last 2 outstanding items. Anything else that, like I said, is not set for Monday that was outstanding or came from the phone inspection yesterday?
No, Your Honor, nothing from the state.
Your Honor, at this time, which is today's Friday, the 5th or the 4th. And we're going to be working on this weekend, all weekend. I'm going to visit with my client tomorrow early at 7 in the morning. and talk to him about this, see if I can jog his memory. This case sounds more to me like a manslaughter case every day. So that's what we're trying to lead to. We're trying to investigate that towards all the elements and all the evidence point to a manslaughter case. And that's what we're trying to prove. That's just nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Okay. I want to be clear that I understand. Mr. Lerma, I don't know how, I don't know what that phone extraction is going to have, but I would encourage you to quickly send someone over to the DA's office to pick up the digital information that they have, because I could imagine that might be voluminous, especially the phone information, because if something strikes you or an investigator in reviewing that information that you need to bring to the court's attention, again, everything's kind of on a time crunch now. We will have not only Monday, but then Thursday and Friday of next week to have hearings. But again, we're pushing up on a trial date that's very close. I would encourage you, Mr. Lerma, have you seen the previous, I think we need to get to, I don't know, Chris, if you have it, the previous competency evaluation. Have you seen that, Mr. Lerma?
No, I have not. Your Honor.
Okay, so Chris, do you have it? I can't remember who sent it to me.
It was
Judge, I
Marissa.
just took a phone call. What was that request?
The previous competency evaluation on Mr. Valles. We need to get that to Mr. Lerma ASAP.
Your Honor, that was me. I was the one who emailed it to you.
Okay.
Mr. Lerma will put his email in the chat. I can go ahead and send it to him.
Mr. Lerma, can you put your email in the chat there in Zoom? Can you see the chat?
Go ahead.
And Your Honor, real quickly, I'm reviewing the evidence tab on portal, and I do not see
A rag?
a rag that is in evidence. We've been in communication this morning, Ms. King, Ms. Sanchez and I, and we failed to see what the defense is. If they could send us a picture of, like, just a screenshot of
Right.
what that would go a long way.
Maybe on Monday, you all can look at that. Maybe when everybody's here, take a look at it. I'm not quite sure what, and I've heard it referenced different ways. So it sounds like there's some confusion. So maybe you all can square that away. I don't know.
Your Honor, if I may say this, I'm
Monday.
just as dumbfounded as the DA is. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Give us a day or two, Mr. DA.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
all we're asking.
We'll see if we can get on the same page. But
Um,
I really would like for you, Mr. Lerma, to review the competency evaluation, because I want to say something very clear, and I am going to address this on Monday. The court has very little patience for games when it comes to motions and claims for competency just to delay proceedings. Okay.
I am not.
I'm not talking about you, Mr. Lerma, but please review the last evaluation. Okay, that's all I'm saying. We'll look at it on, and I'll hear your concerns on Monday. Normally, that's something that, and I think we did this in the past with Mr. Valles, that I would initially send to the 384th. Under these circumstances, I don't see that happening, okay? What I mean is that process. But obviously, you filed a motion. I would encourage you to look at the previous competency evaluation. I don't see your email though, Mr. Lerma. Can you put it in the chat, or can you just tell us what your email is?
It's ENL.
We didn't hear that.
ENL
ENL?
1417 at AOL.com. It's an old email, over 40 years.
If whoever can send that now, if it's Marissa or,
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sending it right now. I'm going to.
and
copy
while
this
we're
down and
here,
send it.
thanks. And while we're here, Mr. Lerma, I'd like to confirm that you receive it. And please read it.
Well, yes, Your Honor, as soon as I get it. And someone's going to the DA's office right now to pick up that evidence.
Great. Okay, so your client will be brought over on Monday morning at 8 a.m. The hearing will start at 8:30, so there will be a little window if you need to talk with him. The current rec, is it still at 40 years? I think it's always been 40 years, no?
Yes, Your Honor. It's always been at 40 years. Of course, we have been in contact with the victim's family.
Mhm. Mhm. Did you receive it, Mr. Lerma?
No, ma'am, we have not.
I think it has to get through the county's filters, Your Honor, but it should be there soon.
Okay. And in terms of the motions for Monday, we're good with all our witnesses?
As far as the state, yes. I'm not sure if Mr. Lerma has others or.
I'm not sure either, Your Honor.
One detective.
I'm sorry?
What was that?
One detective is pending because he's on vacation.
One detective is pending because he's on vacation. That's what my,
Who's the detective that's on vacation?
Let me find out. I have to find out.
we'll have to find out, Your Honor. We don't know right now, but I know that they've tried to serve him, but he's on vacation.
I mean, if we know who it is, maybe the DA's office can try and find out. Usually the DA's office is real helpful with.
Your Honor, I do wish one thing, if Mr. and Ms. Lerma would communicate with me, with the state a little more about any outstanding things, anything that they need to find out. For example, if a detective is on vacation or, this thing that was brought up from evidence. I'm here. I have given my cell phone number to Ms. Lerma. I even texted her and she replied this morning. So I would like some communication. And I don't want to ask for a status and have the court be involved every time, so we can have such communication. I mean, we are attorneys and I think we should communicate.
Are you all not talking? I mean, what's going on?
Your Honor, we are talking. And I asked for her cell phone just a day before yesterday, her iPhone.
Mhm,
And we talked yesterday briefly.
mhm.
We just haven't finished all the evidence review and reviewing the entire DA portal to formulate some more questions that I may have. And we're meeting later on today. That's as fast as we can work, Your Honor. And I'm working on this right now.
Okay, well, I've received the email again. It's inter-county. So do we have, what's Ms. Lerma's email? Do you have Ms. Lerma's email, Ms. King?
No, Your Honor, I do have her cell phone. I can ask her. I did receive the competency report.
I did too.
Judge, I actually do have her email on file. It's the same email that, I e-filed both the Lermas yesterday.
Okay, I'm
let
gonna
us-
send you the competency report if you will forward it to Ms. Lerma as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That detective, Your Honor, is Matthew Durantes.
I don't recall the list of, I had written down the list of detectives. Is that one of the ones on the statement?
I believe so, Your Honor.
So is it a situation where he was available today, but now he's not available on Monday?
He's on vacation.
Your Honor, I actually spoke to him for availability purposes because I anticipated we would have the hearings yesterday. That was on February 28th, and he indicated that he is available. And I made sure that he will be available also for March 17 and 18. And he said he doesn't have any vacation.
Okay, but is he available for Monday?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, so can you follow
I
up?
can
with him?
contact today and I will inform Mr. Lerma and I will CC the court.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would just assume do that for all of them, just confirm.
I will
Okay.
do that. Yes.
Yeah, here he is. It's Dorantes, Matthew Dorantes. There's the subpoena.
And Your Honor, I believe Renee Flores has shared his cell phone number with Mr. Lerma as well.
Okay, that's great. Okie dokie. What else? Anything else?
Nothing from the state.
That's all we have right now, Your Honor.
All righty. Thank you very much. We'll see you Monday morning.
Thank you. My
Take
excuse.
care. Yes, sir. Thank you.